Hi there, and welcome to The Daily Gardener, an almanac of garden history, literature, and small botanical joys. I'm Jennifer Ebling, and today is May 19th. Today is Plant Something Day, and I know you probably don't need a holiday to tell you to plant something. You've been planting for weeks. But I like what this day can be if you let it. Not just plant something, but plant something you've been meaning to get to. Something more of what you already love. Something your grandmother grew. Something you keep seeing at the nursery and putting back. Or something to remember someone. It doesn't have to be big. One pot, one seed, or one division from the thing that's finally big enough to share. May in Minnesota is generous right now. The soil is warm, the evenings are long, and there's still time to put something in the ground and watch it decide what it wants to become. Here's today's garden history. It was on this day in 1834 that the American botanist and illustrator Kate Furbish was born in Exeter, New Hampshire. When she was still an infant, Kate's family moved to Brunswick, and that was where she stayed nearly all of her life. As a child, her father took her into the woods and taught her all he knew about nature. And even though Kate studied painting for a time in Paris and attended botany lectures in Boston, she always came back to Brunswick. But then, in her mid-30s, Kate gave herself a task that no one asked for and no one funded: to find, collect, and paint every flowering plant in the state of Maine. She started at 36. It took her nearly 40 years to finish her quest. Throughout those years, Kate traveled alone to the most remote parts of the state: Aroostook County, the St. John River, the bogs and the riverbanks, and the places where no woman was expected to go. Despite being a single woman, Kate rode mail coaches with no springs in the seats and no backs to lean on. But she did carry a revolver. Ingenious to a fault, Kate built rafts out of scrap lumber to reach plants growing in the middle of swamps. And she crawled on her stomach through bogs to sketch what she found. And in instances when the ground got too soft, she backed out on her hands and knees. Her unending devotion to wildflowers led the French Canadians in the northern towns to call Kate the Posy Woman. Yet somehow she didn't mind, though the people in Brunswick proper simply called her crazy. Kate liked that much less, but it didn't slow her down. She once wrote, "Had I listened to those who discouraged me, I should be as ignorant as they are of its natural beauties." Traveling along the St. John River, Kate once came upon a plant with dull yellow leaves, a lousewort no one had ever recorded. She sent her findings to Cyrano Watson at Harvard. Watson named the plant in her honor. When Kate responded by letter to say she would visit the school, she also issued this opinion: "My second reason for writing is to say that were it not for the fact that I can find no plants named for a female botanist in your manual, I should object to Pedicularis Furbishae as the name. But as new species are rarely found in New England, and few plants are named for women, it pleases me." And that is how the plant named for Kate stuck. She gave it her blessing. A tiny leap forward for women, for herself. Nearly a century later, that same lousewort was rediscovered after decades of no sightings, growing on land about to be flooded by a billion-dollar dam. Its presence helped stop the project. 88,000 acres of northern Maine forest, saved by a little plant found by Kate all those years ago, with mud on her skirt and a revolver on the seat beside her. Ultimately, Kate's Flora of Maine, 14 folio volumes and more than 1,300 watercolors, went to Bowdoin College. The 4,000 sheets of dried plants she painstakingly collected went to her friend Cyrano Watson at Harvard. Ever humble, Kate claimed no artistic merit. She simply called it truthful representation. Kate once said that flowers and botanical books had been her only friends when she collected. She wrote, "The flowers have been my only society, and the manuals my only literature for months altogether. Happy, happy hours." Kate Furbish lived to 97, and if flowers were her only friends, she'd known plenty during her life and was never truly alone. In 2020, the Kate Furbish Elementary School opened in Brunswick. Its halls were lined with Kate's watercolors so that children walk past the plants of Maine every morning on their way to class. And it was on this day in 1898 that the American landscape architect Genevieve Gillette was born in Lansing, Michigan. Her family and friends called her Genevieve. When Genevieve was 3, her family moved to a farm on the Grand River in Dimondale. Every spring, her father would take her into the woods to kneel by the brook with the trailing arbutus flowering around them, and he'd say to her, "Can you hear what it is saying? It is talking to us." She never forgot that. When her dad died when she was a teenager, the family sold the farm. But the memories of her dad, wrapped up in those moments in nature, stayed with Genevieve forever. After high school, Genevieve enrolled at the Michigan Agricultural College, and in 1920, she became the first woman to graduate from its first landscape architecture program. After dozens of applications, she received just one offer from the landscape architect Jens Jensen in Chicago, a man who designed with native trees and believed trees enjoy each other's company. Jens paid her $25 a week. At first, Genevieve was only allowed to answer the phone, but Jens saw her potential and pestered her to return to Michigan and start a state park system. So she did. When Genevieve went back home, she met an old classmate and friend named P.J. Hoffmaster, who became Michigan's first superintendent of state parks. Together, P.J. and Genevieve began a quest to find and save special places throughout Michigan. On weekends, Genevieve scouted for parkland, driving across the state alone, identifying 30 state parks like Hartwick Pines, Ludington, and the Porcupine Mountains. She slept under the boughs of evergreen trees, inspected shorelines, walked dunes, and knelt in the woods, the way she had with her father. And when Sleeping Bear Dunes was about to be developed into condominiums, she made repeated trips to Washington, D.C., until it was protected as National Lakeshore. For decades, Genevieve worked as an unpaid volunteer. The Detroit Free Press called her a saving angel. Although she admitted that talking to legislators terrified her, she did it anyway. And when PJ died of a heart attack in 1951, Genevieve was left to carry their vision alone. She kept going and didn't stop. Somehow, Genevieve found an inner courage she didn't know she had, which is how she founded the Michigan Parks Association and then kept working for another 35 years. Although she never married or had children, she said she felt that the parks were her life's work. By 1965, President Johnson invited her to serve on his committee for recreation and natural beauty. When Genevieve heard the news, she called it the honor of her career. After all the scouting and the planning and the struggle to save the most glorious wild spaces in the state, Genevieve could look back and see her part in all of it. She died on May 23rd, 1986, just 4 days after her 88th birthday. Genevieve's final wish was that the money from her estate be used to buy parkland. And that's how $300,000 went to purchase 5,000 acres along Lake Huron, saving the limestone cobble beaches, the deep sand dunes, and the small dwarf lake iris that grew happily only in that place. And even when Michiganders thought she had finished her work, she managed to save the best gift for last. In today's Unearthed Words, we hear a passage from A Garden in the Hills, a garden diary by the Scottish gardener and writer Katharine Stewart, written on this day in 1994. Katharine wrote from Abriacon, a hillside village near Loch Ness in Scotland. Katharine's garden lay beside a burn, a small highland stream with birches, currants, and wind off the water. After all the years of living on the hills, Katharine understood that May in the north is never guaranteed. She wrote, "If April is the cruelest month, May, so far this year, is not much kinder. Still, the tatties and the first sowings of vegetables are in the ground, though they'll be wise enough to bide their time before emerging. The birches are greening, and in the hollow by the burn, there's a gleam of celandine. Chaffinches are singing nonstop, and a thrush is shouting from the top of the highest pine. Some years ago, when no one was living in these parts, I came upon a garden, a long, narrow stretch beside the burn. Rhubarb plants had grown to the size of small trees. There were black currant bushes, drastically overgrown but alive, and gooseberries still bearing pale yellow fruit. I took cuttings of these and now have half a dozen good bushes fruiting happily. This little garden must have had a really devoted gardener, for in one corner was a lilac, and in another, a gean, a wild cherry." Katharine found that abandoned garden beside the burn, rhubarb the size of small trees, gooseberries still bearing, and her first instinct was to take cuttings. Abandoned gardens are just another way of describing someone else's devotion, left dormant for a while, but still alive in the ground, waiting for the right person to find it. It's time to grow that garden library with today's book, The Alcatraz Rose by Anthony Eglin. This book is part of Garden Mysteries Week, which means all of this week's fiction book recommendations feature tales of intrigue, plants, and poison straight from the garden. And today we're featuring yet one more mystery from Anthony Eglin, who gave us The Blue Rose just yesterday. In this book, a 13-year-old girl asks botanist Lawrence Kingston to reopen a case, her mother's disappearance, 8 years unsolved. And almost at the same time, word arrives that an English rose, extinct for 50 years, has been found growing on Alcatraz Island, 5,000 miles from where it last bloomed. 2 mysteries, 1 botanist, and a connection no one sees coming. The American Rose Society called this book a bestseller, and Garden Design gave Eglin a Golden Trowel Award, and The Blue Rose, yesterday's book recommendation, won a French award for Mystery Novel of the Year. This is garden fiction from someone who knows exactly what roses mean and exactly how dangerous that knowledge can be. Finally, here's something sweet to ignite the little botanic spark in your heart. It was on this day in 1861 that Nellie Melba, the stage name of Helen Porter Mitchell, was born in Melbourne, Australia. Nellie sang on every great stage in Europe and beyond for decades. And then, after all of it, the standing ovations and the farewells, Nellie came home. One evening, driving through the Yarra Valley, she spotted a for sale sign on a gate near Coldstream. Nellie looked across at the blue hills of her childhood, the same familiar landscape and the same familiar light, and the house, with 60 acres, was bought on the spot. After claiming the property for herself, Nellie named it Coombe Cottage and quickly set about making it her own. There she planted a cypress hedge 600 meters long, enclosing the whole of it, and creating a sense of mystery that has lasted more than 100 years. When 20,000 daffodils arrived from the Blue Mountains of New South Wales as a gift from a farmer in exchange for a private performance, they became a happy part of the spring landscape and a stark counterpoint to Nellie's own suffering. Nellie had known real grief, a marriage that became a cage, and a son taken from her and carried to another continent. Nellie held all of that, and still she planted those daffodils. In 1925, as if sensing that people wanted to know her better, Nellie wrote, "If you wish to understand me at all, you must understand first and foremost that I am an Australian." Though she was the most famous voice in the world, in the end, all Nellie wanted was a garden, a cypress hedge, and the blue hills of home. Today, the Nellie Melba rose has a pale pink opening from magenta buds. It is long-stemmed and nearly thornless. It is beautiful, elegant, and a little mysterious. As we close the show today, remember, May has this way of making everything feel possible. And maybe it is. Maybe that's not the season lying to you. Maybe the season is just giving you a window, and it's up to you whether you use it or stand there admiring the light. I've been thinking about that, how the best planting days aren't the ones you plan. They're the ones where you walk outside with your coffee and something catches your eye and you think, today. Not because it's perfect, but because it's time. Thanks for listening to The Daily Gardener. And remember, for a happy, healthy life, garden every day.